on my phone. How is you?
Good and you?
I'm okay.
Just okay.
Nothing new. What's up with you?
I'm okay.
Just okay.
What you need?
Sunshine, sunshine, yeah. I can fall in love right here. I can be young right here. I can live it up like, hey. Sit up in the sunlight, hey. Kick it in the cut all day. Listen to the drums all day. Bang, bang, bang. Never giving because I am addicted to the better living. I'm a father's child.
It literally is just
business,
recording right now, so
Okay.
yeah. I'll
We're
cut
back
this
at
stuff.
it again
Yep.
with the white badge. I'll probably get copyright infringement for saying that too much. That's my shit though.
But
not
yeah,
like-
I think I feel like when you're single, you have all the time in the fucking world and no responsibilities, especially if you
Yeah,
don't
no,
have
that's
any
true.
pets and you can just
Yeah.
play Call of Duty or your
Yeah.
game of choice all
Yeah.
day long, as you want. Like, you should see, like, my amount of time played on Call of Duty is embarrassing. Like, how, when you look at it and you're like, days. I've spent days on here. But when then I look at my friends who I play with consistently, and I'm like, we all play the same amount. Like, we're
Yeah,
on at the
yeah.
same times. Little do I know they're up till midnight playing sometimes. They have like 18, 20, no, someone has 22 days, I think.
Oh my god. man.
And that's not, there's no way that's the top, obviously, on
Yeah.
that game. But of my friends, that's, 22 days.
Yeah, man. I've gotten there before. Like Gears of War, I had logged months on that motherfucker, bro.
You have
like, I was
spent
in that shit.
1% of your life on this game now.
It's just I have that type of personality, especially with games that I
Mm.
love, like Call of Duty and Gears of War. It's just, and especially working from home, it's just too easy.
Did you play those
to
online?
switch off.
Like multiplayer type thing?
Multiplayer. That's all I do.
Okay, yeah. So I think
all I do.
those are way more addictive than because I
Far
love
more.
a single player story game. I'm literally in my other spare time playing, sometimes during work, but playing Grand Theft Auto 5 for like the 5th time over again because it's such a
Yeah.
great story and just a great game overall. But
Yeah.
I think the multiplayer aspect of it, like, you need to hone your skills. And if you get back into that world, the
Yeah.
skills aren't there, so you got to build them back up, which requires
Yeah.
time and energy and thumb dexterity. So
it's and knowing that there are other people in the world that you're currently playing against, it does something to me mentally where
Really?
it like you said, it just it adds another layer of addiction that this is real time.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but it's now all cross-platform. So I have a friend that exclusively plays on PC, one on Xbox, and most of them on PlayStation, but we play together all the time. So it's just the pool has gotten way bigger, or they combine 3 pools,
I actually like that less purely because of PCs. Because I switched to PC
They're
gaming
hard.
for a bit, and it makes me so much better. It doesn't feel like I'm playing the same game.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
of
you
PC
can play
the
with a
speed and what it could get up to.
you
is
can
just
play with
ridiculous.
a keyboard and mouse on like a PlayStation or an Xbox now, but you can't, like, they're not at that level in terms of graphics or frames per second, but the ones coming out next month are going to be at that level. They're like mini gaming PCs for $500, which is an insane price for what they're going to put out, like, in terms of
but
graphics.
I still think I've looked at some graphics cards and some PCs out recently. Look, those systems are only going to keep up with the PC realm for about 0.5 seconds, and even them, they're
but
not even.
How
nowhere
much
close to
better
where
can
the
it get?
PCs need to
Like,
be.
8K is so far away from being the standard, I think. Which, 4K is just now becoming the standard. And how long has 4K been out?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the quality of the game. I'm talking about the speed with which you can play.
I know.
and the frames per
Yeah.
second.
But I mean, the frames per second is big. There's monitors now that get up to
Those
3 something.
Those refresh rates you cannot compete with when you're on your
No,
TV.
and that's the
when
whole
you're on your
reason I'm
Xbox.
playing Grand Theft Auto 5 over again, is because I'm playing it on PC, and on it looks. It's just a different game.
It's a different game.
It is
It's
completely
a different game.
Sometimes I just stand there in the game, and I'm sitting here just not doing anything, just looking at it.
Just looking, because it comes into your it refreshes so fast that the reality of it looks that much more convincing. Like games like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Gears of War, their graphics are on such a ridiculous level.
Yeah, they
that when
are
you
the
put it on a
AAA
PC,
games.
Yes, when you put it on a PC, it's just like, am I in this game? Am I in this fucking game?
Oh, dude, I wear headphones when I play too, and it's just
fucking
like
real, dude. It's so real. It's
Yeah.
so real. And you could not imagine how it well, obviously you can, but I get so sucked into that. I can't help it. And then I also have this thing where you mentioned something that you could play games multiple times. I've always wondered about that. Like people who say, "Oh, I read this book 4 times," or "I played this game and beat it multiple times." I'm like, is it something wrong with me that once I've done something once, I do not want to do it again?
Most of the time, it's like that for me too. Like there's no other game I've gone back and played again. Maybe it's just Rockstar games because I did it with Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. Went back and played the entire thing over again. But it's also the fact that like I feel like the first time you go through a game, you might miss some things in terms of the story. And then the second time you go through, you might find them. But I think the whole reason I've played it 4 times now is that I played it first on PS3, what it came out on. Then I played it on PS4. And then that died. I got a PS4 Pro. And played it on that, which was better graphics and everything. And now I have a gaming PC, so fourth time I'm playing it on that, and it's just like, all right. But other than that, like other than multiplayer games, obviously, because you go back to that over and over again. But yeah, I've never reread a book. I've rewatched movies though, because years go in between me seeing it, and who knows my mindset or if I was paying attention when I watched it. Like, and it's a whole different thing watching a movie like theater versus at home, the experience. So
and I wonder. Okay, so maybe that is my one exception. I mean, there's several exceptions. Like, if I went to Greece once, I'd be able to go again.
Oh, yeah,
like,
No.
You know what I mean? But there's certain things like
retaking in media
movies
is what you're talking about, basically.
Yeah, for the most part.
Because there's too much. There's too much to go and redo another one.
That's probably a huge part of it. Like, if I watched a good Netflix show, I could not go back and watch it again.
Ooh, sorry. Yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah, I've never done that.
But I like experiencing shows with someone as well. Like, I watched something by myself the first time, and if they haven't seen it, I'll definitely rewatch it with them. Like Breaking Bad, I did that with Lydia. And it was great because, like, I saw things that I never saw the first time, and you pick up on different things. Plus, you kind of know what's coming, so you see it from a different angle.
Oh, I certainly think that it's a me thing. It's a me thing.
No,
but it's something wrong
I get
with
you
me.
on certain levels because I don't know who could reread a book. I don't even understand.
It fascinates me
because it's a task to read a book. It's good, but you're learning the whole time, and you're inputting so much knowledge in a long period of time, not like a quick video snippet or something. So it seems like a task. Maybe because reading in our childhood in like school was like a chore. That's what read pages this through this in the math textbook. It's like, oh, you motherfuckers have ruined reading. You've ruined reading with numbers.
I mean, like, certainly, I read a lot on my spare time now, but I typically, the books that keep me engaged are obviously good fiction. And take, for example, I'm reading this book called Pachinko right now. It's about this Korean family during the Korean War, and it's a fascinating book.
But it's fiction?
I love it. It's fiction,
Okay.
But it's like, what's it called? A historical fiction?
Okay, so it's like historically accurate, but it's what-if scenario.
Yes, correct. It's like, this could have been real-life events, but nobody knows that this actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this book. It is amazing. It's a fascinating novel. I can't put it down. I'm reading like on average like 60 to 100 pages a day. Like I'm gonna finish a 400-page book in like less than a week, right?
Damn.
But so somebody to say, okay, now go back and read that again, even though I absolutely loved it, and if it was a movie, I probably would watch it again. But for whatever reason,
it's the time it takes. It might be the time it takes.
It probably is, man.
I can't speed read. I mean, I feel like I read pretty fast, but it's nothing where I could see myself going back through a book. Yeah, I mean, maybe if you wanted to look something up, because I've definitely underlined things in books and like folded back pages. Like, okay, I'm gonna remember this, and if I don't, I'm gonna open it up. But I've never really opened it back up. and looked
Yeah,
at it.
I've never done that.
So whoever reads it next,
No.
you know, they actually
It's gonna
installed.
know my thoughts.
They installed this cool. Well, they built like a playground down the street, and they installed like a book box, like a book
Oh,
exchange.
yeah, I know those.
And I put in a couple different books and took out a few myself, and it's just like, oh well, maybe somebody will see the underlines and be like, oh man, whoever had this book
motherfucker was nutty.
he was on to something.
This motherfucker was out of his goddamn mind.
maybe so. But hey, I've checked it again, and they're all gone, so they've been taken.
Oh, really?
I know
okay,
that.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I got a few book exchanges in my neighborhood, and it, like around there's like the WNOD trail that runs from Percival to Washington D.C. And there's a bunch of them along that route. And yeah,
The
people
first one I
constantly are
saw
putting
was in
and out
DC.
books.
Actually, I remember getting off a bus or something, and I saw one. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah,
People
yeah.
put books out here.
Yeah. And books are one of those things where you don't have to really worry about. For what is it about books, right? So, I think ideas are the most real thing that exist.
Okay,
And let me tell you why.
please.
What lasts longer than ideas?
Yeah, no, nothing. Not us, for sure.
I don't know of anything that lasts longer than an idea, right? I feel like they are
an idea lasts as long as the last person to
think about that thought.
Yeah, think about that idea.
But is there an idea that's never been thought of before? Can you have an idea that's never existed?
Yeah, of course. I mean, people invent things all the time, so that's just one example in a very specific way. But I know what you mean.
But typically, you'll find a bunch of proven,
improved devices.
Yes, right. Because like even people like, oh, Steve Jobs created the iPhone. I'm sure there are people around that time.
He did create the iPhone, but it's just an improvement on the cell phone.
It's all these are just like. Yeah, you're just improving ideas. So I don't know if there's any real genuine ideas. And I saw that all to say, right? Books are one of those things where you could just put them somewhere and people won't fuck with them for the most part.
Yeah,
people
don't
just
like
leave
books.
them. And then it's like, yo, this is like
people don't fuck with books. That's the title of this episode.
Yo, it's so crazy. And books are you can argue that books are one of the most important things, if not the most important things that we have. I mean, books carry on ideas for generations. They put information that was once spread out into a nice, concise, neat, put together form. And books are so powerful. They change lives.
Yeah.
They give ideas. They change nations.
I mean,
they
the
start
Bible.
religions. The Bible. But yet and still, if you left a Bible on the street, nobody would give a shit.
No. They're like, I can get the same info on YouTube in 2.5 seconds on my phone, in my hand, right here. Thank you, Steve Jobs, the one and holy God.
The Messiah.
Yes. But I mean, I don't even fuck with books. I do fuck with books, but so much so that I would prefer an audiobook because it's easier for me to take in while I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
Like while I'm getting other things done. I have so many audiobooks. I'm like halfway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through Talking with Strangers. And, obviously you listen to, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah, on his you listen to his podcast because you've sent it to me before.
Oh, yeah.
The audiobook is basically his podcast.
Him. Yeah.
And it's awesome because he has the interviews that you would read in quotations in the book are just, he has the people speaking, like the actual recorded interview of a lot of them or reenactments of it, which is cool. So it's very interesting. And did you read that book, Talking with Strangers?
No, I haven't gotten to that one yet.
It's just, and it's kind of like, Outliers. It's kind of like that, where it's just a bunch of different case studies, which is like how he likes to talk. But it proves his point, and it's really good. And it's just how we are really bad at judging one another, like God, bad at it.
Yeah.
He goes through like just police officers, judges, spies, like all this different stuff where people were just bad judges of character, and there's no explanation for it. Really,
yeah,
it's crazy.
But I think the one thing it does relieve out. I haven't read the book, but we are really good at judging people we know really well.
It does talk about that. Yeah,
we are
it is. It's talking with strangers. So yeah, it's all about not knowing people and making judgments based on body movements, facial expressions, tone, just attitude, whatever.
Yeah, it's projecting, right? Because I know you fairly well, right? We've known each other for years, and we've talked a lot. We know very well how each other think, act, talk, whatever. If you met someone like me, you would immediately take your knowledge of me and project it onto that person.
Yeah, and it would cause like false trust, basically. Yes. And this person could swindle the fuck out of me just because it's like, oh shit, he's him and Ray think alike. I think I could trust this guy. Nope. Took you for all you're worth. Yeah, he talks about that with there's a case study where there's people in a room and they are asked questions that are difficult questions. And then the person interviewing them has the answers in their hand, and they have to leave the room for a minute. So they can look and cheat or not look. But what they're really studying is what they say afterwards when they ask them. The interviewer left the room for a little bit. She left the answers right there. Did you look? Did you cheat? And their responses. And it's crazy because there were times where it's like this person seemed like, damn, I trust him. Like, just based on the audio, I trust his response. Nope, lying. Yep. Then this one girl talking in fucking circles, and nope, telling the truth. It was a classic, well, she's talking way too much and repeating herself, and it's just like, she's definitely lying. And they brought in fucking law enforcement people. Like, couldn't really? No. And it's like, damn, so how the fuck are you judging your shit right now?
It's fascinating.
They did it with a judge, too, and it was like, he has to see people's faces in order to judge them, basically. And there was a woman wearing like a burqa in the courtroom, and the case was thrown out because he couldn't judge her based on her face, based on her facial expressions. Like, can I look in your eye? He wanted to be able to look at your whole face and in your eyes and say, I trust you, or I don't. Here's what I'm setting bail at. He just threw the whole case out because he couldn't fucking do it. And it's just like, what is going on here? It's pretty wild. Yeah, I suggest listening. That's what I'm doing. I tell Lydia I'm reading with my ears. So don't worry about
it. That is so fascinating. And it also makes me think about things like lie detector tests. People think, like, let me put this person on a lie detector test that will tell me everything that I need to know. So what I know as a fact is police actually use lie detector tests as a tactic, right? They give you that false impression that a lie detector test is infallible. So then that puts pressure on you. And if they go, hey, you're lying, well, that they think that will motivate you to tell the truth, but also it motivates people to give false confessions. And also there's a reason that lie detector tests are inadmissible at court, because they have been proven to be so shitty at actually detecting whether someone is lying or telling the truth that they don't allow them in the courtroom.
Yeah, it's
inadmissible.
Well, it's like someone could just be super nervous in general as a person, and you're going to fail the shit out of that. I feel like your heart rate's going to spike. Oh, shit, they asked me a question. Truth. They asked me a question. Oh, fuck. I'm answer. When he would say his name, I'm sure it would fucking spike. Yeah, it's not accurate whatsoever. They still use those for, like, I feel like job interviews for security clearances. There you go.
Security clearances still use them. And again, this isn't something that's like under wraps that people are trying to hide. We know for a fact that lie detector tests do not give you the information as accurately as you would think, yet and still we use them. But again, it's a tactical approach, not a legal. Again, it's not to actually find the truth.
Yeah,
it's to scare you. That's all. But
either into lying and false confession, or to
tell the truth.
I guess tell the truth and confess.
Yeah,
if you're guilty. I don't know. It depends on if you're innocent or guilty, I guess. But yeah.
and that's and that's why I have so many books to read, but I need to finish. But then I'm going to get to Malcolm Gladwell's one. But that's why I wanted to really read his book so bad, because I know how bad I am when I meet people. Especially, I think the easiest one for guys to recognize is and women to recognize is when you're dealing with the opposite sex, right? When you've met a girl that elicits the same patterns as a previous girl you dated, automatically she's that girl.
Yeah.
Automatically she's that girl.
That's true.
They are in that category. There is no fucking way she's ever getting out of that category. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Like,
yeah.
She would have to do something drastically different in order for you to go, oh, maybe you are not like her. But I know how frequently I do that with guys I know, people I meet out in the streets. If you bear any resemblance to somebody I've met before or seen before, I will automatically attribute beliefs, values, all types of judgments to you, and I have no fucking idea who you are.
Yeah, it's weird because everybody does that. It's just a human trait, and that's why that book is so interesting and why I wanted to get to it, because it's just an exploration of that and all the situations it could throw you in. The one about a spy is. It was during like the Cuban Missile Crisis, and
I heard that story on his podcast.
Oh goddamn, she is
the queen of
the
queen of Cuba.
Yeah, yep. Dude, it's wild. But the interviews he has of the people that knew her and interviewed her and stuff is just like, we should have seen it, but we didn't. They just trusted her wholeheartedly, and she was just lying to their faces.
Hey, and let's throw on top of that another thing that makes telling whether somebody's lying, telling the truth, mischievous or not. Attractiveness. When you got a beautiful woman telling you something, you as a guy, straight up, I'm inclined to believe her.
He was talking about the guy was that interviewed her was talking about she kept on crossing her legs and stuff. And I was like, okay.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're after, you old horny bastard. That's why he didn't see it. Next. This one's I got this one. I understand why he didn't see it.
Yeah, it'll get you every time, and that's true for attractive men as well. Look, it is actually scientists have researched this. You are more likely to more likely to attribute positive motives, beliefs, honesty, and just good values overall to people who are attractive. Mm-hmm. And you are more likely to attribute fucked up, vindictive, manipulated things to people who are not attractive.
Yeah.
It is a weird thing about the human psyche, but we think more attractive people are more honorable, which is why an attractive person who's a psychopath can come through just...
Yeah.
Ooh.
What's his name? I guess Jeffrey Dahmer was supposedly... good
very
looking.
Attractive.
Yeah, and that's how he pulled people in.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's not, and then everybody looks at the unattractive person or the average attractive person and like, oh, you got to look out for him. They always attribute that to that person, and those people spend their lives trying to fight that stereotype. So they go out of their ways to be. I'm not everybody, but a lot of people go out of their ways to be, great people and whatever. And it's the ones who you really got to look out for is that bad bitch down the street that you are just fawning over.
She got people in her
trunk. She's the one you got to look out, because if she was to go sideways, you would be so distracted by her beauty that you would not notice until it's too late.
Yeah. Very true.
It's
I've seen it in so many movies. I've seen it in so
many real life stories.
Yeah,
man.
right.
I mean, even me, man. There have been situations where, all right, I'm gonna tell you my first strip club story.
Okay.
First time I went to a strip club in Miami, Florida. I was like 17.
Sounds like it's probably a good place to go.
Yeah. I was a senior in high school. I was like 17, 18, and I went to my high school roommate. I went to his uncle's house, uncle or cousin, I forget which one, in Miami, Florida. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we're young dudes, real like rah, like we want to do 18, this, we want to smoke some weed, And he's like, all right, I'm going to show y'all a fucking good time. I'm going to take y'all to a strip club. So he doesn't take us to this nice uppity. He's like, I'm going to show you a real Miami strip club. He takes us to a grody, like not dirty, but like it was definitely like
it's been there a while.
Strip club. Yeah, you know what I mean? And like where the girls were naked out the gates type thing. Like there was no lead up. They were just butt ass naked from jump, bro.
Sounds like a good one.
And I remember running into this one lady. She gives me a dance, and she's like, "Oh, you want to go to the back room?" Like, she's fat ass, like all the things you want her to be. I'm like, hell, fucking yeah, let's do this, bro. We go to the back room. We have conversation. She give me a couple dance. We getting along famously. Then a couple songs in, I'm like, I'm about to go back hanging out with my friends, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that'll be $200." I said, "The fuck?" And
sneaks up on you in strip clubs.
It was a huge argument that ensued. My boy and his cousin uncle had to get involved. And it was just this
damn,
thing.
That's not a good first strip club.
Oh my god, the bouncers came and I'm like, this bitch played me, and they like, and the bouncers looking at me like, bruh, you should have motherfucking known.
Yeah,
and I'm
right.
like, in hindsight, I'm like, bruh, you should have motherfucking known, bruh. You know what I mean? But it was her beauty and that allure. I was like, oh, obviously this is a trustworthy woman who just wants to spend more time with me. What the fuck was I thinking, bro?
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Young and naive. That's just how it works.
Young and dumb, and you know the rest. Oh my god, dude!
Oh,
and it's those moments where you realize where you really got to be careful around very attractive people. Now, most attractive people are good. I think most people are good. Some most attractive people you run into are kind, generous people. They may be a little full of themselves and narcissistic, but how the fuck can you blame them, right? Like, this is what it is. But if the ones you run into, you realize that you always got to be slightly wary of very attractive people, because if they want to take a turn for the bad, like it will catch you blindsided. It will catch you too quick. By the time you notice it, it'll be too late. So that was a lesson I learned the hard way.
$200 too late.
$200 deep, bro. And still went and got another lap dance after that. And this girl gave me a hand job,
sounds like it turned out to be a decent night.
This was a wild night, bro. This was a wild night. And I go back, I'm like, so this other girl, she's the first girl I wanted. I was like, man, she's all right, cool. So she gives me a lap dance and I'm wearing shorts. And she just reaches up my shorts, bro. And I'm like, oh, maybe she's like, she lost something.
Yeah. Lost something.
Man, and then I realized, it's like halfway through where I'm like, oh, this bitch is really giving me a hand job. Like, this is fantastic. And the night ended up pretty great.
Damn. Yeah, I mean, that sounds worth an argument with a bouncer and a stripper. I'd say that sounds worth it.
It was basically a $200 hand job.
It's a win. It's a win-win. Kind of.
It is.
Win-lose. I don't know. You came out on top. Either way.
I did in many ways. Because and I like looking back, sometimes, when you're going through an experience, it sucks in the moment and you're like, fuck this or whatever, but it does make for a pretty good story like later once you're like way over it. Like,
yeah,
it's a great story.
What was I thinking about today? That show Hot Ones on YouTube? I guess the channel. They had Matthew McConaughey on like yesterday or today. And he talked about that he's kept a journal for 30 plus years.
Oh my God!
Like, I guess multiple journals, but and so he locked himself away in the desert for 52 days without electricity, and wrote a book out of all his journals. And he just put it out. It just came out like 2 days ago. But just that, like, those stories that you have, like, there's so many that have been lost in time, and I'm like, man. Fuck, he's been keeping one for 30 years. He's 50. So, oh, God damn it. I'm like 10 years behind. I need to start keeping a fucking journal.
Yeah. So, dude, I have a bunch of my journals from like way back when. And it takes a very special type of person to be able to go back and read your journals, because it's kind of like reliving the pain. Because, like, I don't know if you're too familiar with Harry Potter, but one of the things that I'll draw the analogy. It'll make sense, right?
I saw some of the movies, none of the books.
Okay, so what they had this thing called a pensive, right?
Okay.
And what it would do, like, you would take your wand, you would tap it on your brain, and you would be able to remove memories and store them in this thing.
Oh, that's
sweet.
And
I feel like, yes,
I need that.
and I would love that, right?
That's a journal.
It's a journal, right? And I feel like journaling is the same thing. And what's the tough part about going back and reading your journal entries is it's kind of like reliving them, because you're kind of taking those memories out of your mind, especially the painful ones, and putting them down on paper so you no longer have to hold them in your brain. And then I feel like for me, I've tried rereading some of the shit I wrote, and I'm like, I just can't. It's a lot, dude.
Yeah.
So the fact that people can do that is pretty cool.
Yeah. It could be embarrassing as well. It could be just like
God, yeah.
bring like, I get it. It just brings like a rush of different feelings. And you're like, this is not what I want right now.
Yeah. I don't want to go through this again. I went through it once.
A scary movie or a sad movie if I want this right now. Not about my life. God damn it.
Not about me,
But I mean, I feel like maybe he's just had a really, I don't know, great life. I don't know. But I
would say so.
I mean, he's for some reason weirdly known for these like, what is that? Sorry, this is like a piece of fuzz flying in front of my face. Known for like these isms, like Matthew McConaughey isms, like things that he said. So maybe he has some knowledge to impart. He speaks in a very pleasing way. I don't know.
Certainly.
Yeah, especially after his round or square circle thing speech on True Detective. I don't know if you saw True Detective with him. And
I did.
Season 1. That was season 1.
Yeah, I
with
know.
him and Woody Harrelson, and he was just like way out there, and just there was some time is a flat circle speech that he gave, and it was just like, holy shit, this dude's on another fucking planet. I feel like he definitely made all this up in the script. But I don't know. It's cool to be able to remember those stories for sure.
Yeah, man, and
I need to keep it journal.
I used to journal a lot, and I haven't journaled in years, and I've evaluated this about myself a lot. I don't know whether it's that I'm scared to, in the sense that I know writing down all my thoughts and feelings will bring me to an understanding that I maybe don't want to have. And I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, like, don't you want to come to a better understanding of yourself? But it's the same reason that people are afraid of success. Like, success is a scary thing. Failure is a much more comfortable state to be in. People think failure is the most uncomfortable. I think success is far more uncomfortable than failure.
I mean, I feel like you fail more than you
That's
succeed.
The norm.
Yeah, it is.
Failure is the norm.
Yeah, that's why I've always maybe that's why I liked baseball so much, because failure is the norm in baseball. Like,
it's the norm.
30% is good.
yeah, that's fantastic in baseball. Right. But and I think that maybe some of my resistance to journaling again is the fact that there's some things that I may not want to come to terms with myself. Right. So if I don't write them down and I just keep them tucked away in my subconscious somewhere, then I never have to face them head on, which is probably a good idea that I probably need to start writing.
There you go.
I probably need to fucking.
That's probably the answer.
I need to do it. Man.
I have multiple like notebooks that are blank around here that I have for whatever one reason or another, and I think I wrote podcast ideas in one of them, but. Nothing other than that. I need to do some journaling. I guess this is kind of the journaling of a little bit. We're 30 some episodes journaling deep.
Yeah. This year is because talking is a way of thinking as well, you know?
Yeah.
And anytime I'm going through some really rough shit, I come out and I air it out on this podcast. Like one of the things that crawls under my skin is obviously the Black Lives Matter and all this racial stupidity in America. That shit gets under my crawl, and when that happens, I come on this podcast and I'm hot, bro. I let that shit fly, son.
I believe episode 37 might have been about that. Maybe 36 as well. I don't know.
Or maybe 1 through 36. And so I definitely use this as a platform to vent my frustrations and hopefully connect with someone that is frustrated in the same way that I am. I know a lot of the things we are similarly frustrated on, but then there are points of where we disagree, which is also a good thing, because I need to know whether the things I'm thinking are fucking crazy or whether they're based in some form of reality, which I think for the most part they are, but I have my moments.
Yeah, I agree.
Fucking rails, bro.
I agree, and people are
Oh,
still.
you agree that I'm fucking nuts?
To all of the above, But there are, dude. I mean, there are still people listening, so they're out there.
That's awesome. You know, look, I don't know who these people are, bro. I'm so fascinated.
I think our YouTube channel got taken down, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I got something in my email. I don't know. I don't really check the Gmail very often for this podcast, but I think I saw something about it getting taken down for too many
Copyright
strikes.
infringement?
Yeah, probably the music is what it's about. But
it definitely was.
Fuck you, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah, dude, so I was handling our Twitter page, but I read this article about what Twitter is doing to our society, and I basically I had to get off.
So I have Twitter because on PlayStation I had to have one in order to share these video clips of Call of Duty with the people in my Call of Duty chat. So I did that, and it like simultaneously posts to YouTube and Twitter. That's the only thing. But now I've started using it. I was following our Twitter, so I saw your updates, but I use it exclusively for following two people that are supposed betting experts for if I want to put a bet in, and that's it. Yeah. Recently, there's been an insane amount of sports on. At one point there, we were in the NBA Finals with the NFL going and in the heart of baseball's playoffs. Yeah. And it was like, I think, and the NHL had like just finished up their Stanley Cup. And it's like, what the fuck is going on right now? It was
amazing.
It's a perfect storm of sports, and I don't know what to watch right now.
Yeah. It was, I will say sports wise, this last 2 months have been fan-fucking-tastic.
It's been very helpful, I think, for everyone.
Oh my God, man. And one thing I will say is every time I turn on baseball, the number one question on my fucking mind is how the Boston fucking Red Sox.
Oh God, fuck me.
Traded.
God
Mookie
damn it,
Every
dude! I woke up the other day
fucking
to a
time.
text from Jason. You know the Jason I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Saying Twitter's blown up about why the Red Sox got rid of Mookie. It's like, I know, man. I already went through this. Don't bring it back up. Like I've come to terms with it. I thought I did, and now I've been upset for the last couple of days about this shit. Because in Game 1 of the World Series, he hit a home run and stole 2 bases in the same inning, and then got home on a crazy play. And it's just, it's annoying. It's annoying. It was a terrible trade, and it will haunt them for a long time. But that, who knows?
I think so, because
we finished dead last this year.
Oh yeah, which makes sense. You traded away the LeBron James of baseball. I think I heard an announcer say it quite perfectly. It's trading Mookie Betts is like trading LeBron James.
Yeah, they've
it's
compared it to the Babe Ruth trade.
It's almost an equivalent, bro. Like there is nobody in the sport on Mookie, in my opinion. Just watching this dude play, and I don't watch a lot of baseball, but from the baseball I watch,
really good.
Mookie just seems like he is on a different fucking planet.
Yeah, he's
and
really
it's
good.
Like, why would you ever trade someone like that?
I don't know. And he won a World Series with the Red Sox. It's like, why would you do that?
It doesn't make sense, dude.
Yeah, it all has to do with, as they said, getting under the luxury tax threshold, and it mostly... Basically, in the trade, they got rid of David Price as well, who had an insane contract for his age. And funny thing, he opted out of the season. I bet he's very upset right now because they're in the World Series. Stupid ass motherfucker. But they definitely could have gotten a lot more in return because the Dodgers have, they're in the World Series right now, and they're playing a bunch of guys that are like 22, 23, 24 years old that are awesome, like starting for them in the World Series. And it's like, why didn't we get any of those guys back? For fucking Mookie Betts. And then they also didn't want to he was going into his contract, final year of his contract, and they didn't want to get nothing back for him. Yeah, by letting him run out and then losing the sweepstakes for him. He turned down a $300 million contract with the Red Sox, and he just got maybe it was I'm gonna be wrong, but 330 maybe. So it wasn't much more, and I'm sure maybe the Red Sox would have given him more, but he shut down contract talks. He didn't want to be there. I don't think he wanted to be there, but at the same time, they didn't make a good trade for him whatsoever. Who wouldn't want to be in L.A. playing for the stacked-ass Dodgers that have been to the World Series 2 of the last 3 years, now 3 of the last 4, I believe?
Yeah. It's
I had a lot of text message conversations with the 2 Red Sox fans that I'm like close friends with that I know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all anger all around. No one justified it. It wasn't justified. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, 365. 12 years, 365.
Okay. But
So
with that
he's
context that you added,
Dodger for life.
yeah, for sure. With that context that you added, that there was also some part that Mookie played in not wanting to be there, then that makes it like a little bit more.
Well, apparently
understandable.
Boston is like the most racist stadium to play in, according to since the the Black Lives Matter and everything has come out where people are going to kneel and stuff, and that's a ton of stories have come out from former and current black players. Obviously, they're not. I would assume they're not yelling things at Mookie because he was on the Red Sox, but opposing teams got it pretty bad from fans there, which it's a lot of white people, so it makes sense. There's going to be a lot of racist ones.
Look, you can call me whatever you want for $300 million.
365. 365.
Bruh.
Over
call
12 years.
Call me a nigga, call me a coon, call me darky, call me porch monkey. Bro, line them up.
All right.
Give me everything.
Look, this is how much I hate that they
365.
traded him. I literally Googled the other day, why did the Red Sox trade Mookie Betts? Because I had already read every fucking article ever when it happened.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, yeah, I remember this now. No, I blocked this out.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
Jason,
yeah.
if you're one of the people listening.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, dude. I every time I watch baseball and Mookie's
But
on,
we'll be
it
back,
just-
man. Red Sox spend money. They make good moves they've over the last however many years, they've made some insane trades to win World Series. Like within 1 year of making the trade, they win. This is not one of those trades. This is one where you might have to rebuild, but at the same time, they have a good team. We just have no pitching whatsoever. We have a good hitting team to replace Mookie, but no pitching, and the best pitcher, oh man, I'm forgetting his name right now. Anyways, the Red Sox best pitcher was out all year, Chris Sale. He won the World Series in 2018 with them, and he was out with Tommy John, the elbow shit that affects all pitchers. You're out for like 9 months afterwards. He was out for the whole season. So we had people opt out. A guy had COVID and he got a heart issue, Eduardo Rodriguez, afterwards. So now he didn't play the whole season, and he's really good. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good year. Plus, you have the Mookie thing hanging over the season the whole time. It's like, oh, god damn it, motherfucker.
Can we talk about how?
By the way, the guy they traded for him, Alex Verdugo, he's decent. He's not great. He did hit 300 this year, so hey,
that's pretty
it
good.
was only a 60-game season.
That's not the greatest
yeah.
statistical
Asterisks by all of them.
Yeah, but one of the greatest medical accomplishments that goes unnoticed is Tommy John surgery. But like when
isn't it weird that it only started affecting pitchers more recently?
But still, if you had a Tommy John injury even 20 years ago, you were done. As a pitcher, that was the end of your career. Now, you get Tommy John surgery. 9 months later, you're back in action. No problems, no questions asked. That is a medical advancement.
Does it happen a lot in
football?
Any other sport? Basketball?
No,
I haven't heard of it in basketball.
I've never. It's specific because the pitching is such a.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen to other players too. Like I know a catcher had it the other year, but I mean they throw the ball a decent amount, quite a bit. So,
but yeah, that used to mean your career ended.
There it is. Yeah, so why I knew I saw this like last year. It says, why is Tommy John surgery on the rise for youth pitchers? So it's like becoming the younger they are, it happens at a younger age now. So you see even like pitchers that just came into the league happen. It happened to Strasburg like his first fucking year. And the weird thing is they come back better, throwing faster.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's the medical advancement is just.
And it might be because
you can't even compare it to anything else.
The reason it's on the rise, I feel like, is because people are more specified with their sports now. You don't have a lot of
exactly what I was going to say.
Dude, you don't have more. Fuck, if you had another Dion or one unknown, really is Brian Jordan. I don't know if you know who that is. He played for the Arizona Cardinals, but he played for the St. Louis Cardinals in baseball. He was really good. And then obviously Bo Jackson. But like, you don't have two sport athletes anymore. Like Russell Wilson could be one, but like, you don't want to risk paydays in one, like a bigger payday in one for paydays in both, or for even the love of two sports. It's weird that you have to choose now.
Yeah.
Because I grew up playing all sports, like everything.
Yeah,
not football,
because-
but I played soccer, basketball, baseball my entire life. Well, not soccer, but it was just like, I tried all these different sports and played them. But I feel like kids now is just like, all right, your parent says you're going to be a baseball player. Let's work it. We're going to get to the big leagues. Yeah. Baseball's not the one if you want to get paid, by the way. If you're great, you get paid. But not a lot of spots.
The likelihood is a lot harder than a lot of others.
And the minor leagues don't get paid shit.
Yeah.
Football, I feel like, is your best bet. 52 people on an NFL roster.
Yeah, I would say football is a pretty good bet in terms of sports.
Well,
soccer too. Yeah,
there's that.
Soccer or tennis, I think, are your best bets.
Oh, tennis. Tennis. There you go.
Yeah, but I will say. I've been reading a little bit about that as well. But all injuries overall are up in youth sports, and a lot of people are saying that is the primary cause is exactly what you said, that you're not working out different muscles. You're not going from football and then going and working out those fast twitch to going to basketball, working out those slow twitch to baseball where you're not working out at all, but whatever. And then but you're not working out those different areas of your body to give your body an overall strength and strength and flexibility, but where you're just doing the same movements for years. It's like basketball, run, jump, cut for 25 years straight. So your body eventually goes, okay, fuck that. Where if you threw in some football or some tennis or some golf or some in between all that, it would not only give your body time to rest, but you would also give other parts of your body a chance to get as strong as those parts.
Well, yeah, and you see athletes doing that, like playing other sports in the offseason, not professionally and not ones that could impact their contract, but for leisure time when they're in the off season, I feel like. But there's a lot of athletes that have like clauses in their contracts that they can't participate in other shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember what's his name, Aaron Boone for the Yankees. He had a home run in 2003 that put the Yankees in the World Series over the Red Sox, like a walk-off home run to send them to the World Series. And it was devastating for me. I was very upset as a kid, and I threw my phone, I think, against the wall at the time. Anyways, he the next off season was playing basketball and tore his ACL. And
oh my God.
He's the manager, I think, of the Yankees right now. He ended up becoming the manager years later, but I think something happened where his contract was in dispute because of it, because that was in his contract. He wasn't allowed to do that.
Damn.
Because I guess, like, if you don't get hurt, then it's no big deal. Who cares if anyone finds out you play basketball? But if you get hurt, it's like, fuck, what was I doing? I was, I slipped in the house. Fell downstairs. Aaron, we have video of you playing basketball, getting dunked on and tearing your ACL.
In this video, you dunk and say, "That's game time, niggas." Is this you? That's crazy, bro.
They're like, anybody could edit a video. I mean, there's Photoshop and all that.
Oh, I was actually, speaking of editing video and stuff like that, I actually listened to a podcast about the rise of synthetic media.
Oh.
And how we're reaching a point where the deep fakes, yes, where the deep fakes are getting so good at, first of all, you can go to thispersonisnotreal.com or whatever, and you can see an AI generate faces that to me or you would look like a real person, but that person doesn't exist.
That's crazy.
That person doesn't exist.
What are the odds that could come up with someone that used to exist?
I would assume if I was gonna say, given the amount of
a lot of dead
given
people.
the amount of possibilities of faces you can contour, that maybe you could, but
we can't even comprehend it. Probably.
I just thought about it because look, like change, like literally put your eyes an inch, not an inch. That's way too far.
The sides of my head over here. I'm a fucking fish now. Some sort of reptile.
But put your slightly move your eyes further or closer together.
Yeah.
Slightly, like imperceptible to move your nose, right? Even those things that might seem like that you couldn't tell to a person looking at you, like, the fuck happened to Andrew, right?
Yeah.
So if you can do even those slight little tweaks, they could make people who look very similar to you, but then it wouldn't be you, right?
Yeah, very true.
She was talking about how first they can already make pictures where you cannot tell whether that's a real person or not. Now they're at a point where they can. So that The Irishman, that movie that was out on Netflix.
Oh, De Niro,
with Robert De Niro and all
Al
those
Pacino,
other guys. So Al Pacino. So there was this was shot in 2015, and they had to do young versions of them, and so they spent millions and millions. A guy,
they should have spent billions.
Look, it's crazy, right? So,
but I noticed
that was in 2015. Well, in 2020, a YouTuber took that movie and was like, I could do this better. And a YouTuber with no budget did a significantly better job to the point that it's almost imperceivable that that's not the real younger version of themselves.
Wow.
And that was only in 5 years.
Went from did the movie? Why did they fuck it up then? God damn it!
Because the technology didn't exist to that capacity in 2015. It just wasn't that good.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, but by 2020. A guy on YouTube randomly with some free time was able to say, I can do this movie quality in a couple hours. And this guy spent for $0.
Yeah.
And this guy spent millions trying to get that to happen.
That's crazy.
And it's that uptick.
So what are the movies going to look like in 5 years is what
we're going to do it. There won't be real people in movies. Yeah. And you won't be able to tell.
Well, I mean, I remember in like Justice League or whatever, they removed Superman's mustache and it looked terrible. So they got a long way to go.
Yeah,
it looked terrible.
It looks so, like I can see his mustache, y'all.
Because he was shooting like Mission Impossible at the same time, that actor. Yep. So he had and he had a mustache for that movie and he couldn't get rid of it. So
they CGI'd it.
Oh shit! Speaking of that, I mean, you're a fan of superhero movies. Do you like the DC ones as well? I mean, they're not as good. You hate them?
I hate them.
Okay, maybe this is good news for you then. All right.
I watched all of them, but I hate them.
So Justice League, the original director was Zack Snyder, and he had like a death in the family or something like that when he was shooting it. So he had to leave. He had to leave his film in someone else's hands. And then Josh Whedon, who did some of the X-Men films, I think, came in and did reshoots and added his own stuff and, you know, kept some of Zack Snyder's stuff. But that's what we ultimately saw. What in theaters was that a product of that. So on HBO Max, they're going to put out the Zack Snyder cut of this movie, which has, I guess, multiple main villains that didn't appear, you know, that are in the DC universe, and, you know, additional footage. It's like over 3 hours long, maybe, and they're going to release it in hour parts, like a show on HBO Max in like January or February. But it's like, cool. Yeah, I just thought it was really cool, and it's, you know, there's a ton of CGI in that movie, so I'm just curious to see what happens with that, because, yeah, some of it can be. I mean, the Superman mustache thing was terrible. So
we've talked about this before, but I can't put my finger on why DC movies are so much worse than Marvel movies.
I don't think they're much worse.
Oh, for me, it's not. It's night and day, man. It's night and day. Some movies I can't even make it through.
Well, like, I mean, Batman's DC, and like all the Christopher Nolan Batmans are amazing. They're great.
All right. Okay. Caveat.
That's the caveat. So you're talking more so about the new ones in terms of. I thought Wonder Woman was good. Then I didn't see Aquaman because I was like, nah, fuck that.
Trash.
Okay. Lydia said it wasn't great.
Trash.
I did. Justice League I saw, and it was cool seeing all those superheroes, because I saw, you know, I watched the cartoons as a kid in comics, but it was just like it didn't live up to it. And then shit, was Justice League Batman versus Superman was in there too at one point.
That movie also
trash. And then there was multiple Superman movies in there.
Synopsis for those? Trash.
And then what did you think about the there was one more. Fuck, what's the other one?
Oh, I can take a stab at it here.
God damn it! Well, we were about to go through these movies and decided not to recently. Fuck. There's another DC movie in there that I'm forgetting. But anyways, better. All right, so better than all
Joker?
the Supermans. Oh, Suicide Squad is what I was thinking of. Yeah.
With Will's trash.
They're
Trash.
They're doing a second one. They're trying. They're continuing to try, and I like the
And they're
actors.
failing. They're failing
I
every
like
time.
the actors. All right,
They're
okay,
failing.
all right.
They're trying and they're failing every single time.
I have a
They're all
replacement
garbage.
for Superman. Then have you seen? Oh damn it! It's a movie about an evil Superman. Brightburn. It came out in 2019. You should fucking watch it if you haven't.
The animated one.
No. It's live action. It's not called Superman. There's no Superman references. There's no S on his chest type thing. It's just you can tell he is Superman. Like he has everything about him. Crash land spaceship, alien, parents raise him on a farm, and then they discover some fucked up shit. It's the most R-rated superhero movie you could possibly have, but also it's like a horror movie, so it'd be good to watch this time of year. Better than those DC movies. It's called Brightburn.
Okay. Right.
But
one word.
Yeah, Brightburn.
How did I not see this movie?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's not got a 6.1 on IMDb, 58 on Rotten Tomatoes, but you know, I for horror type movies, I always think they're around that level.
Yeah. Okay. I think my favorite thing going superhero wise right now, obviously everybody's same one, is The Boys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just
I actually put the first, I guess, graphic novel compendium in my wish list on Google Play Books. I was like, yeah, I might have to get into this. I might have to learn more.
Good, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's so fucking
really
good, dude.
Great effects in that show as well.
Yes.
But yeah,
dude,
it's like
have you seen
the real version of superheroes.
Yes. Have you seen the season 2? Have you?
Yeah. We finished it. Yeah.
It's
one of my
good.
favorite parts in any show ever is when they crash the speedboat into a humpback whale. And he was just sitting inside the whale, just depressed, but he wouldn't get out. But also the look on the Deep, the superhero, the Deep, his face when he realized they weren't going to stop. He was just the look of terror of his animal friend is going to die was so fucking funny to me.
Dude, look, hey, no, my favorite part of that entire season is when what's the American
Homelander
is on top of the building just jerking off. Oh my god, dude, it was so great, man. I was like, that is some Homelander shit. But goodness, they do such a good job of
got a great cast too.
Oh, the cast and the guy who plays Homelander, I've never seen him in anything before.
I have actually.
But yo, he is good, man.
Yeah, there's a show that was on Cinemax actually called Banshee. Is about a dude that's on the run from a diamond heist, and he somehow becomes the sheriff in this new town because the sheriff dies suddenly, who's just supposed to start as the sheriff. And it's just, but he doesn't look like that. He has a buzzed head and everything, but it's just weird. I was like, fuck, I recognize this dude from somebody immediately. Yeah. But yeah, it's a great show.
In a lot of his pictures, he has a beard, and it's much better because his jawline is so weird, man. It's so fucking weird.
It is.
Dude.
It's very pronounced. Very pronounced.
So wild.
He kind of looks like a robot a little bit.
He looks so weird. What's wrong with your face, bro? Do something about your face, man. I just don't like it. I just don't like it, man.
Oh, and I got to tell you, we've started watching, I don't know why, but foreign films. Not necessarily, I feel like saying foreign films is
Got a lot right over there?
Is it's I don't know. Saying foreign film seems like it's a very culture thing.
Japanese erotica?
No, but we watched. Fuck, what did we watch? God damn it! Oh well, one that we just finished was Sputnik. It's all over, kind of top horror movies list of this year. But it's about an alien thing, and it's all in Russian, and it's It's wild, but I've realized like I can't watch movies that are dubbed in English. It's the most annoying thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Yeah.
So we watch them in that language and just subtitles or whatever, and it's great. But Russians talk so fast. Like the subtitle goes up quick and goes away. What did they say? I definitely didn't audible. Like it didn't come in the ears. So But then we watched. There's a movie on Netflix called The Platform. It was a very, very interesting. I think it's in Spanish or fucking Italian. I don't fucking know. But another good one. But you might like it. It's very graphic. And, we've been watching all fucked up horror movies right now because of the time of year it is. And it is about a certain height prison that is straight up and down. Seen it? Did you like it?
Of course.
This shit was
Loved it.
wild.
It was wild. Yeah. I loved it.
Did not see any of it coming. Like, I was just like, wait a second. You're in here for what? To get a degree?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I guess that's easy. 6 months? No problem.
Nope.
Oh, little do you know, your roommate brought a fucking knife. He's obsessed with knives on TV. He brought a fucking knife. He's going to eat you. It's so wild.
It was one of the coolest concepts because Netflix, for whatever reason,
it was just a comment on
bad.
society as a whole, but it was just like, what are you trying to say? I don't know. It's wild.
And the food starting at the top.
Yeah, and you can take it was enough food for, well, no, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Because they wrote it down and realized it's. I mean, I guess they could have portioned it out, but better.
Yeah.
But still, it was like 300 fucking levels. And the people at the bottom just would jump. Yeah. Just would jump and kill themselves. Because it was just like, oh, wake up in 300, you're dead. You got to go.
Yeah.
But like 150, you might get some scraps. You might be able to eat some leftovers, some puke on the plate or something.
Yeah. Oh, man, that shit. I remember watching I watched that with my girl. It was she
it was
really
on
our, too.
You should see our fucking lists. I have a Netflix list. I have an Amazon Prime list. And our Hulu list is very small, but I also have one of those. And it is all the movies and shows, mostly movies, though, that we'd like to see. Because I have this channel called What Culture on YouTube that I watch. And it's just normally when I'm eating lunch for like 30 minutes, I'll just watch like a 10-minute, couple videos on there. And it's like lists of movies. So it's like the best acting performances that didn't get credit for that. And then I'll write them down. And then I'll search on them. And then I'll add them to the fucking list. And I make sure to research, like, all right, is it a good movie? Like, what did it get? What score did it get? And they're insanely long now. There's so many. And for every movie we watch, I've added 3 more that same day. So it doesn't matter. It grew exponentially that day.
I couldn't do that.
Why? How do you watch stuff? How do you determine what you're going to watch?
I have to. My mind works in such a once you start something, finish it way. Where it's like if I'm watching, say, like The Americans, I gotta finish watching the.
So you only watch that?
I could do 2 or 3 at a time. I could do 2 or 3 at a time that I'll rotate.
We usually do movies in between one show that we're really watching.
Yeah, we'll typically do like 1 or 2 HBO shows and like one Prime or Prime or Netflix show. So that's how we'll keep it. And like we never do more. Actually, we do 2 shows. We never do 3. Okay. We do 2, and then we don't start anything.
You don't watch
movies.
You don't watch
nothing.
movies. Okay.
We don't do shit until that's done.
So after the shows, do you take like a movie break, or how does it work?
Nah, fuck movies.
You just watch. You said you watched The Platform. When did you watch that?
We'll do movies on your recommendation. Okay. Like if my girl has bought into your recommendation, slot, stock.
Well, you got Brightburn. From out of this one, so
but she's not a scary movie watcher. Yeah. And I love
that time of year.
Movies,
it's that time of year.
I got it. Brightburn,
but it's more so. I'd say it's more like a thriller. Like it's a superhero or a super villain movie. Yeah, really. Yeah, origin story. That's what it is.
I'll try.
Sell it to her as that. It's like it's the newest one. It's the newest one. I don't even know the superhero's name yet.
I'll tell her it's psychological suspense.
There you go. There's some recognizable people in it. So
okay. Yeah, no, I try not to like start too many things because I just don't like keeping all of that shit in my head. Like, where did we leave off on this again? I like 1 or 2 where I know exactly where we left off and what was going on. I don't have to talk about who did this last time, and I could just jump right in and I'm good to go. Look, oh my God, dude.
These are just ones I have written down recently that I need to watch.
Oh my God, man.
I don't
That is
even know what some of
insane.
them are either. Like some of them just are a single word. Them. I don't know what that's about. Like what is that one about?
Yeah.
So like and then I'll go through and I'm like, oh, should I watch some of these? And then it's like, oh, why do I even have this list? I don't know. And I got one for TV
an
shows.
insane
That
list.
was just the movies list.
Yeah. Dude,
So it's just, and I was
can't.
talking about this with my sister the other day. She was like, "You really need to get on listen to this podcast," and I'm like, "I can't. I don't have time
you
for
ain't
it."
telling
No.
her to listen to ours. Like,
I
what
mean,
the fuck?
I should have. I should have said, "Do you have time for this one?" Then, but she wants me to listen to the Joe Budden podcast, and it's like I'm sure
I've
it's
heard that's good.
probably decent, but
Yeah.
I don't. I already have multiple ones in rotation, and then I have audiobooks. Like I can't fit it in right now. It's just not. It's not in the cards. Maybe I'll jump on in a year or two. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly,
just and the amount of media there is. I even told her the other day, like I wish there was more hours in the day to be able to like, oh yeah, then if I had an extra hour, I could listen to the Joe Budden podcast, but I don't. I have too much shit that I do and listen to already. It's just like, why is there so much? It's like the data grows exponentially. Where is it all going to go? And when are they going to stop making stuff? I think Rogan's asked that before. It's like, when are they going to let us catch up? Like, let me catch up real quick.
Yeah.
But I guess it's also that there's so many different types of people who like different things that, I mean, there's probably some wild shit out there we've never even heard of just for specific audiences, you know, that are, you know, very small in their what they really like. I don't know, furries or some shit like that.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. I mean, like that. And for me, that's personally why I read books, because I take in so much audible media that I need something, because eventually it starts giving me a headache. Really.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I eventually need a break. And the way reading makes my mind work, it's something reading. Especially when I'm reading a good novel, I never feel a feeling of tiredness. It's just the only thing that makes me feel
quick.
Oh, the only thing that makes me feel tired about reading a book is if I'm physically already tired.
Yeah,
then I'm like, okay, then I have to tell myself I need to
normally
stop
it's
reading.
when I'm in bed is when it makes me tired, so that makes sense. But no, I don't.
But
yeah,
if
I
I'm
get what you're
reading
saying.
a good novel, I can. There is
a
nothing
page turner, so to speak.
Yes. There's nothing in my brain that goes, "Fuck, you got to stop." But when I'm even listening to Rogan's podcast, there's sometimes where I got to go, "All right, that's enough Joe for today." That's I need a fucking reprieve.
I haven't listened to him in weeks, actually.
Yeah, I just need a reprieve. But he's off for a week because Jamie got COVID.
Oh shit! Moved to Austin, got COVID.
Yep, moved to Austin, got COVID.
So one of the ones I've recently read through my ears was Dan Carlin's book that he put out last year or this year. You know, he's the guy that does Hardcore History, that podcast. It's, what was it called? Something about the apocalypse. It's basically like different times in our history where we've almost killed ourselves completely. Mm-hmm. Maybe not on purpose, but like it talks about different wars, different the Black Death or Black Plague, whatever you want to call it. And he spent a ton of time on World War II and the nuclear bombs and the Cold War. And it's just extremely interesting the lengths we've gone to destroy each other over the course of history.
It's
very
insane.
Interesting book.
It's
and
insane.
Just everything surrounding the nuclear bomb is just like, even the people that created it were like, what the fuck did we just do?
What is this? What is it that the quote that the guy said? "I am become death, destroyer of worlds."
Yeah.
When that first atom bomb dropped, and I've listened to many podcasts and read a lot of articles about how many times something like the shifting of the moon happened, and it made it look as if there were a bunch of nuclear warheads heading to New York, and somebody had to make a game time decision to not blow the
How
Earth
have we not
up.
done that yet?
How has it not happened?
And the weird thing about it is Japan has been involved in so many of these crazy historical events that involve I mean, obviously the nuclear bomb is the only place it's gone off, but there was like a Chinese-Japanese war before World War One, and it was wild. They were like firebombing civilian populations like in a very tactical way, where they would drop like smoke so they couldn't see, and then They would blow up, like regular bombs, so it would blow up buildings and cause more debris, and then they drop fire bombs, so all that debris would catch on fire. And it was just like liquid fire, basically, that they were dropping in these bombs. And it talked about like a road melting and people getting stuck in that road, like that thought it was solid and could try to cross it, and then they were stuck in hot whatever it was at that time.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and it was just like, what is happening here? It's so but it's just crazy that listening to his podcast and that book that he wrote is just, damn. Why is the theme Japan a lot in all this stuff? It's crazy. Yeah.
Their culture is very stubborn.
They were still decapitating prisoners right before World War One, like with samurai swords. There's like picture of them doing it to a Australian soldier who was one of their prisoners, and it's just like, what the fuck? And that's actually one of the reasons why they were actually on our side in World War One, which is weird.
Yeah, Japanese culture is like it's a very admirable culture. I'm infatuated.
Oh, for sure,
with Japanese culture.
Yeah,
I love
crazy.
it.
The whole world is.
Yeah, there's certainly an element to it that is that they are unmovable, dude, when their mind is set, which is why we dropped the atomic bomb.
Well, we came
to the conclusion that this is a people that will never surrender.
There were multiple warnings that our president, like the British Prime Minister, goddamn, I'm drawing blank on all these names, but that they gave warnings to them, and it was just like, all right, they didn't listen. Here we go.
Yep.
And and it is weird because, not weird, but it's almost like, it falls in line, but they are like a tech superpower now. Like some of the greatest, most innovative technological inventions now come out of Japan. And it's like,
they have a bullet train.
What the fuck? How after that?
How did they do that?
After that? 2 bombs.
Yes. We annihilated a huge chunk of their population in one fell swoop.
They're very small too in terms of like land size.
Land size, yeah, and yet they're one of the most dominant technological powers in our world.
They have
today,
like a Times Square in Tokyo, I think. Like like I've seen it on videos where it's just very like there's lights. It's just like, am I in a pinball machine right now? It looks like a pinball machine.
Yeah, I would. Oh my god,
I'd love to go to Japan.
I want to go to Tokyo so effing bad.
There's a really sweet game, actually. Like, obviously people are infatuated with samurai culture in general, and there's a game that came out exclusively for PlayStation during the summer. I think it was like June, drawing a blank once again, but it's like say Grand Theft Auto or Red Dead Redemption, one of those like insanely high graphic games for the samurai time, and it's them fighting the Mongols off their island, like Genghis Khan's Mongols. And it's just like, it's really good. I haven't finished it. It's a very long story and game and stuff, but it's just really cool, like that they put all of that culture into a game and did it like they did.
Yeah, no, I that is so cool. And hearing stories like this and reading history such as that you mentioned, it's very. I wish more people had an understanding of that, the vicious ways in which we used to live, the harsh and unthinkable ways in which we used to die, how brutal and unforgiving life has always been until like, what, yesterday?
Yeah. 20, 30 years, 40, 50 maybe?
Like legit the other day?
Yeah.
And the fact that we take for granted, like the other day, my guy, like, and we take for granted the fucking, like, if you are alive in America today, oh my God.
Yeah.
You are, Obama said it best. One of my favorite quotes of his. If you didn't know what race you would be, what sex you would be, or anything about the life you would live and body you would inhabit, if you were to pick one time to be alive, you would 100% pick today.
Oh yeah.
I don't care where you are on this planet. You would pick today.
For sure.
Because even the poorest of us are living significantly better than people were even 50 years ago, right? So that's what frustrates me a lot about the conversation that's going on in our country, man.
100 years ago, 200 years ago, it was so wild. So wild.
It was literally the Wild West, bro.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's so crazy. None of us would survive that.
Bruh, I don't think I'd make it a full 24 hours.
No.
I don't
Like,
think I'll make it.
What animal is gonna eat me? What tribe is gonna kill me?
I wouldn't
What
make it full.
weather pattern is gonna fuck me up? Yeah.
Yep. I'm done.
What
I'm done
massive
no hope.
animal is gonna kill me that's
What
not
was-
extinct?
What water am I gonna drink and shit my guts
Oh,
out and
God.
die in 2 hours? Like what? All,
Dude,
what,
it's
all
always
the
so
things,
fascinating to me that water was so dirty up until, very recently that you hear all these stories about people drinking wine and ale and all this stuff in like these old stories, and it's like, what the fuck were they always drinking? Because they shit
had
the
nothing else.
same place where their water came from. Like
Yep.
you're not, they're drunk all the time. That's why history is so fucking crazy. Everyone was wasted as fuck,
Yep.
doing whatever they could to make the time they had there much more pleasurable, because it was going to be a very short time. They were there for a good time, not a long time. Most people in our past. I actually saw that somebody asked that question on Reddit today. It was like something about a life expectancy a while back, and like what would a 20-year-old like 200 years ago look like? Like they would be much more aged than your average 20-year-old today in terms of just based on stress and quality of life and fucking nutrition. Like, god damn, they were just eating whatever they could find back then, I'm sure. It's like it's just weird to think about that life expectancy has grown so much more because our lives are easier, but not. It's mostly because of medicine and water. Those are the two things.
Yeah, water, man.
But think about if those people that had worked as hard as they did had just not access to the technology, but just the medicine and water. I think they would have lived. They would have lived much longer than us, just based on the struggle of everyday life. Them struggling physically every day and being in good shape. I feel like there weren't fat people back then. Mostly,
No.
America's very fat.
The rich people were fat.
Yes,
then.
very true, very true. Because
That's a very good, interesting thought, and it's a thought I've had a similar thought before in terms of maybe these stories in the Bible of people living to like 800 years old. That might be excessive, but like to like 200 years old.
Yeah.
What if? Because we understand that there's civilizations
they
that
had something we
before,
didn't.
that had technology we
Mhm.
can't understand.
Yep.
What if they had some access to health care that was, and so they had all the natural food, all of this stuff, and then they also had a way of preserving their body. Like, what if that existed? And maybe, just maybe, people in those days did live that long
Yeah, you
because
never
they
know.
had access.
And it's
that we
just
don't know
something,
about.
yeah, because there's no proof left over of it or no written
Yeah.
account or something. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck that. Oh my God. Did you listen to the Rogan podcast? It's the last one I listened to. The one with Graham Hancock and the guy that wrote the book about the secret religion.
Oh, of course.
Okay. So yes, now that shit was so fucking crazy. Like
It's nutty.
talking about how all these famous scholars and things and thinkers went to this one place and had this one cohesive secret religion, but then also holy shit, they were tripping balls. They were tripping balls. That's how they got it. Like, god damn. It's nuts to think that, like, it's like, oh shit, people that, I mean, I know a lot of people that have done shrooms and they claim to see things. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
claiming to see a spirit or God or what have you. I mean, it's not rare by any means. So it's
Not out of the question.
and they talked about like the burning bush could have been the acacia bush, which puts off some type of hallucinogenic
DMT.
properties. Oh, DMT. There you go. And it's like, oh, man, this is wild stuff. I love thinking about, because I mean, everything in the past, most of it we don't have proof of. It's most of like a what if scenario. What could have happened if everything was in the right place? We have fossils and, things like that, but we don't necessarily have, I mean, books are, I mean, as far as you trust the author, that's basically as far as, what we know about history. So it's yeah, I mean, it's very interesting to think about times when people were coming up with these ideas that people all subscribe to today.
Absolutely. So my brain works in one of two ways, I have two separate thought patterns, and I go like this. It's either God is real and he exists, which I think I tend to, I'm getting far more religious the older I get, because I'm starting to understand the purpose behind it. And I'm not saying like you need to believe in God, but in the sense, like I've spoken about before, that the Bible was a book created over thousands of years, and at the very least, it can be used as an instruction manual for all of the things people have been through. it's either that somebody gave us this thing and it's this from high on up above, and they're these entities and spirits that we don't understand, which we don't know, or I believe, if I don't believe that, I believe in the stoned ape theory. That is how going with it.
I know I've heard it, but what is it again?
Yeah, but the idea that the reason we when you split off in the evolutionary branch, like the reason we went in a different direction than, say, apes and orangutans and chimpanzees and gorillas is the fact that our lineage stumbled upon mushrooms, basically.
Yeah.
And that's why we can think in the patterns and have the ideas that we do, because we basically have a developed brain that has developed based off of hallucinogenics.
I mean, it does. There is,
the most part.
Yeah, and there's theories that even now that, you know, taking or microdosing on shrooms can create and repair brain pathways that didn't form correctly or are damaged inside wherever the fuck it affects. I'm no scientist, doctor, whatever, but it's like, shit, I always feel very good after I do it. And It was weird because back in the day, you always hear about like a bad trip, somebody having a bad trip. Oh shit, I don't want to have a bad trip. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, don't think about bad stuff. I don't think like, I think you're good. Like if you're a strong-minded person, I don't think you're going to have one. If you're not, maybe just don't do it.
Yeah. It's and again, what I think the bad trip fear is legitimate, and I'll tell you why. Because throughout our history, I believe that when people went on these spiritual journeys with psychedelics, they were usually accompanied by a professional, like a shaman, who can walk them through the process, who knew signs to look out for. So even if somebody went down a bad path mentally, a shaman could bring them back. Right?
Yeah.
And now
someone to guide you through the process.
We don't have that. You know what we do have a lot of assholes who want people to have bad trips and laugh at them. A lot of guys are in friend groups where if you have a bad trip, people will like think it's funny. Right. So I think that with in that environment of not necessarily feeling all the way safe about the people that you're tripping with, I think the fear of a bad trip is legitimate.
It's weird because everybody, I did it the first 2 times by myself, like just in my apartment in college, and it was great. It was amazing. People told me not to do it. I took a whole 8th and just, went down the rabbit hole.
Nuts.
Yeah, it was fun.
That's nuts.
3.5 grams or so, I guess, is what it was.
Oh my God, dude.
And it was great. It was wonderful. The ceiling was moving, things were sounding great, tasting great, whatever. I also ended up throwing up during it. Has nothing to do with that. I had a cough at the time. I hit the bong at the same time, and I had to cough, but also from the weed, and it came out as like a burp, and then I ended up throwing up. It was just bad, and it was in the hallway. But anyways, I mean, I don't know. It was just, I would rather do it by myself than with like a guide, but it all depends on the amount you do. Because if you're in one of those, like, if you do a lot, you might want somebody with you, especially on those, what is it, ayahuasca or maybe DMT. I don't know. I haven't done DMT, but it's when I did microdosing of it though, just like 0.8 grams, I guess, it felt amazing. Like it was, you're not getting as like the up there with like hallucinating things or seeing things that aren't there, colors moving around and stuff. But it's like, it's a very nice high that leaves you very happy and satisfied. Like, I don't know. And I know a lot of people are doing that nowadays with multiple different drugs.
Yeah, I do it. I mean, like I microdose. Like I don't take 0.8. I think I take a little bit less than that. But I wake up in the morning, and I'm like, I'm golden, bro. And that lasts. Let's say I stopped taking it for like a month. That whole month, that feeling would last. It's something about that. And again, it's this stuff isn't supposed to be done. You're not supposed to use acid every day. You're not supposed to use LSD and shit like that every day.
You can't use shrooms every day in a big dose, because if you try, it just won't work.
Yeah,
I've done it.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck, I just wasted all of those. I didn't feel shit. I fell asleep.
Yeah. Sure. But it's like, these I think based off of like listening to Graham Hancock's and I forget the other guy's name on Rogan. To me, it feels like they should have. These things are supposed to be seen, I think, as like spiritual guides.
I like that the guy
thing that they're like done every day and abused.
Yeah, you know? I like that the guy hadn't done them. It made him.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, and he knew maybe he doesn't want to do them, but it also makes him more credible because it's like, all right, you're not just this like really high dude writing a book about shrooms. You're an ex-lawyer, I think, who turned into a scientist of some kind to research this. But yeah, oh dude, there was this one time I came home from Firefly, the music festival, and I had driven my friend's car, but I had taken a lot of drugs that weekend, and I think I ate shrooms that day or even the night before. And I had so much in my system. I was probably doing Molly at the time too, smoking weed, drinking, whatever. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel anything. I got home it had to be 5 hours later, 8 hours later. And like, I guess everything finally digested in my system, or the other drugs wore off and the shrooms were still in my stomach. Cause I was just sitting in my bed, and I was living with like 3 roommates in Springfield at the time. I don't think they went to the festival. Maybe they did. I don't know, but they were down with whatever. Yeah. But dude, it was wild. I was just sitting in my room. It did not mean to be that way. It was like on the Sunday before I had to go back to work the next day at CDW, and I was like, oh god, this is not good. This is not good. Did not expect this to hit me later. I thought we were past this. But there's also been times where it just didn't affect me because I took them the day before and tried again, and it was just like, all right, well, you build up like a really high tolerance right away.
They're definitely not meant to be consumed on a.
If you want to have like a visionary trip, sure, go ahead and take a bunch. But yeah, microdosing is the way to go.
Yeah, nah, man. There's and I'm open to all of these theories. I so much enjoy the idea of what we think life is. It could be something completely different, because there is this kind of feeling, especially living where we live. Like, you live in a beautiful house in the Richmond area. I live in a great house in Falls Church. I have everything I could ever want and need. And there's this like kind of like numbness that happens, that this is what life really is. And I enjoy talking about things like this because it reminds you that we're in a kind of bubble, a precious bubble of sorts. Like, we are in this like glass enshrined golden little nugget that's not really what life is. Like, 90% of the earth is experiencing what life is. Like, me and you, we really ain't. Like, you know what I'm saying?
What is life?
Okay, that's a good question. I know. But I'm talking about...
I think it's that you have figured out how to accept what your life is, or you've figured out how to be content with your life, or you've just figured your life out. One of those three things.
But I'm speaking from it. Maybe I'm speaking on too like macro level, but I'm speaking from a level of what the current situation in which you and I are living in is so foreign. This has never been experienced before by any of our ancestors.
Are you talking about the pandemic or just in general?
Being alive with a computer in a house with AC, with, like the circumstances in which we live. This shit is a fucking like, it's a miracle.
It is.
And I have to constantly remind myself that 99% of the earth is living a fundamentally different life. They're living a life more closely associated with what life has been for most of the time. Now, I'm not saying that's a better life to live. I'm not making that case.
I don't know, because I love the 99%.
A huge chunk.
Yeah,
if you're in America, by default, you're part of the 1%. You're if you're in a Western civilization, you are 1%, and the rest of the world is living in pretty rough shape. Right? Okay,
but if we subtract China and India out of that, because goddamn, China and India, y'all got a lot of people. If we subtract, I get what you're saying. Yeah, because I mean, most of the earth is covered by like a barren wasteland. Most people live in China and India. Yeah, I mean, they do. They both have over 1 billion. It's insane. But yeah, no,
huge
you're right.
chunk of
You're right.
Earth's
I got you.
population
Yeah,
is
it's a big chunk.
right?
It's a big chunk.
So and there's only like 350 million people over here, and then of that 350 million, there's not many people that occupy the position that you and I do. And I think it's fascinating to think about how entrenched we become in our own lives, and our struggles are real. Our moral relativism or life relativism, I don't think is healthy, because you always are comparing yourself to people that you shouldn't. So I'm not saying that we do that, but that exercise in reminding ourselves of
It's a good
how
thing to do.
blessed we are is just, it blows my mind every time I think about it.
Yeah,
Every single time.
it definitely
I'm like,
does.
holy shit. Why me? Why me, bruh? I don't know about you, but I ain't shit. I'm not.
It's definitely not something that my, even 18 to 25-year-old self thought was coming by any means.
Never.
And it's just, dude, and it's so weird because it goes by so slowly at the time, but so quick when you look back on it. And it's like, how did I end up here?
Like think about it.
But also getting older, your priorities end up changing as well. So it's I don't know, it's not necessarily not caring about other people, but you become more granular in who you do care about, because you only have I don't know why that happens, but that is what tends to happen.
Okay, maybe it is what tends to happen. Well, I think you are right. But then think about the huge chunk of people that is not any small minority of people it doesn't happen that way for. Think about how many guys you know.
But at the same time,
they,
I would assume, are very entrenched in their own life as well. Like, they aren't worried about what everyone else is doing. They're more so worried about their situation and improving it.
Yeah. And again, because the life that we live isn't necessarily the correct way to live. There's so many different ways to live.
As I said, not enough hours in the fucking day.
Yeah. I find it fascinating how, I've known people, I would say, that are much smarter than me, funnier than me, better looking than me, wiser than me. And I've seen them fall by the wayside, more athletic. I catch myself asking, like, what did I do to deserve this? Like, yeah,
it's just different decisions lead people down different paths. Took
a
fork in the road and you should have gone left when you went right.
I take a lot of responsibility.
Life is just literally multiple, one fork after another. That's all it is, because you got to make a decision one way or another, and it's luck of the draw a lot of the time, man. It really is. It's like you could take, I don't know, say you really need a job. You've been out of work for a long time. You have two options, and you choose one, could be great. Choose the other, could be great. Say the one you choose ends up closing down. The business closes down, or your position gets done away with after only being there for 2-3 months. Then you're like, fuck, I should have chose the other position. And it's like, no one could have known that was going to happen. And I feel like that is the moment where people need, obviously decisions are made in that moment, but that is kind of what separates the people that, I don't know, make the right decision from the people that make the wrong decision, is that they did something about what happened in that moment. It really all goes back to the struggle. Just struggling makes for a better life, I feel like.
Yeah.
But to a certain extent, because obviously, you don't want people to be going hungry and fucking no house, no food, no whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm always, I understand that there's a lot of luck to life, but I'm always skeptical in admitting that, or hesitant, is a better word, in admitting that, because I know that a lot of social justice warriors and activists cling on to that what people have the people who have a great lot in life have not earned it, that it was just luck of the draw that Bill Gates is who he is. It's just given to them. And I wish there was a way that more people can hold in their mind that it is luck combined with effort. There is you do have some control.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that certainly some shit is out of your control for sure.
Damn.
But there's a lot that is also in your control.
Timing's a big thing.
Correct. And it's like people get so hung up on the part that they can't control. Why is that the one you're focusing on?
Yeah.
Why that one?
It's always the hardest thing to let go too, is the thing you can't control, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to give a fuck about it, but you do for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You had nothing you can do has any effect on this. That's what I was. That's what I mean. I like it. Yeah. I think I was telling Lydia that before our wedding. Like, nothing, like, it doesn't matter if it rains because we have no control over that. We will adapt. That is what, that's all about, is adapting.
We made our decision. Once we make a decision, there are going to be so many factors beyond our control. Mm-hmm. But we can't let those uncontrollable factors to make too much of an impact on the decision we made. Mm-hmm. We can't now go back on. Oof. No, we shouldn't get married now,
dude. Fucking betting, sports betting is so much like that.
Oh God!
God damn it! I should have bet on the Rays last night, son of a bitch. I was trying to get on my betting app, and you know how you have the security images. You're like, tap on the school buses. It made me do it like 9 fucking times. They're like, no, you missed one. I'm like, no, I didn't. God damn it! I didn't get my bet in. They fucking won. God damn it. Yeah. I'm secretly hoping the Dodgers lose so Mookie doesn't win with a different team. No, I'm just kidding. I want him to win.
Yeah, no, it's I find that so fascinating how it is the things that we know we can't do anything about. Like, people focus on race. Like, I know I keep coming back to race, but people focus on race. Like, what the fuck are you going to do about your race? What it is, bro. Yeah. Like,
people have tried to do stuff about the race. It's weird.
Michael Jackson tried. Look what happened to him.
Rachel Dolezal or whatever. She was white. She tried to say she was black.
Just live your life. Don't focus on the things that you cannot control. And again, much easier said than done, because sure. I get lost a ton.
Do what I say. Do as I say, not as I do. That's what my mom used to tell me. It's like, you're not setting a good example, though. Yeah.
Don't drink as she turns up.
Yeah. Never do drugs.
Yeah, man. It's I find that life is super interesting, and I part of why I do this is I don't ever want to lose sight of that, because again, in I feel like in my life personally, I can I'm okay, get up, go to work, play basketball, come home, go to sleep. And you can think life is boring and uninteresting, but that's all a matter of perspective. And I guess I want to encourage those who are listening that if your life life should never feel boring. It never should, because
I agree.
This thing is so precious. It should never.
So many choices you can make and things you can do.
So much. And if you are ever in a point in your life where like shit is monotonous and boring, then you're too comfortable. You need to stretch yourself. For sure. And I'm telling you, the minute you stretch yourself even a little bit, life all of a sudden instantly becomes interesting. And
very true. That's a good place to wrap it up, I think.
Yeah. I'm off my soapbox now.
No, that was good. I think that is a good ending for this. That was well said.
Cool.
All right. Well, it's good to be back. People. Well, no more weddings, so try to do this sooner than a month and a half later or whatever. So
yeah.
But we'll talk at you guys next time.
To those of you who are still listening, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? No, keep doing it.
All right. We're out.
What means everything to me is love. Everywhere I go, everything I do, everywhere I am, there has to be love. There has to be positive vibes. Life is too short for anything negative and anything that you don't love. So for me, love is number one. It means everything.